Hi, hello and welcome back to F1 Challenge VB. My name is Mephisto and our epic journey through the history of Formula 1 continues today with the 6th round of the 1961 season, the German Grand Prix. It was held on the 6th of August, it had 33 entries, 26 of them took part in the race with 10 of them having to retire. The race consisted of 15 laps completed in 2 hours, 18 minutes and 12 seconds. Phil Hill started the race from pole with Brabham in 2nd, Moss 3rd, Bonnier 4th, Von Trips 5th and Ireland started from 6th. Moss drove a superb race to win the German Grand Prix from Von Trips, who finished 21.4 seconds after the Brit. Phil Hill crossed the line in 3rd, 22.5 seconds later. Jim Clark ended the race in 4th, 1 minute 17.1 seconds after Moss. Surtees finished in 5th, he was 1 minute 53.1 seconds down, and Bruce McLaren rounded off the top 6, he was 2 minutes 41.4 seconds down. Phil Hill posted the fastest time of the race, 8 minutes 57.8 seconds. We return to the Nordchleife for the German Grand Prix, where a lap starts off with a long run down into turn 1, a tight left-hander which leads immediately into turn 2, a tight slightly banked hairpin. Next is turn 3, a tight left-hander. Eventually we come into this tricky medium-speed right-hander. Be careful on the exit not to crash into the foot of the bridge. Later on we come into a tight left-hander which goes over a bridge, so caution is advised. A little bit further on we come into another tight left-hander that crosses over a bridge. This leads us into a blind tight right-hander. Be very careful as you crest the hill, the car tends to oversteer a lot through here. From here the track opens up until we reach one of the most iconic corners in motorsports, the carousel. Slow down, aim for the second tree from the right and feed the car through the bowl, making sure not to use too much power. This is followed by a series of varying speed corners until we reach the mini carousel. Once again take it easy and feed the car through the bowl. Next comes a very long right-hander that brings us onto the longest straight in Formula 1. This ends with a very fast chicane that brings us back onto the main straight, and that is a lap around the Nordschleife, aka the Green Hell. And here we are at the Nordschleife for the German Grand Prix, looking at the previous Grand Prix winners because I'm an idiot and I skipped the qualifying session by accident, so yeah, I didn't want to go through the loading screen again, so I hope you'll forgive me. Anyway, Phil Hill starts from pole with, I forgot who was 2nd, Tintignant, 3rd, Ireland 4th, 5th, Dan Gurney, 6th is John Surtees, followed by Giancarlo Baghetti in 7th, 8th, Brabham, 9th, McLaren, and Richie Ginther in 10th. Jim Clark starting from 11th, 12th is Jackie Lewis, followed by Joe Bonnier in 13th, 14th is Godin de Beaufort, followed by Roy Salvador in 15th, 16th is Graham Hill, Tony Brooks 17th, 18th Bandini, 19th Maston Gregory, and obviously Andy Hicks starting from 20th since he didn't qualify. So that's the grid lineup for the German Grand Prix. Haven't raced here since 1958. There was a German Grand Prix in 1959, but as you can remember, that was held at Avus, and we are off in a very slow reaction time from me, so we lose a bit of position. Then I nearly crash into Gregory, so I kind of slow down and let everyone go ahead just so I can avoid hitting anyone. I mean, I don't want to destroy my car already. Well, I don't want to destroy my car at all, but let's see if we can overtake Gregory through here. Everyone is very slow coming into this into turn 2. Actually, this is turn 2. Eventually I make myself past Maston Gregory, and now having a look at Lorenzo Bandini. Hopefully we can overtake him as we come into turn 3 at the end of this quite long straight here, going parallel with the main straight. In front of him is de Beaufort. They both brake. I managed to get by Bandini, however I'm forced onto the grass, and that allows Bandini to get back in front of me. And then as we come through turn 4 here, Bandini goes off the track, tries to cut, however that works, backfires, and I managed to overtake him, so that's pretty good. And here is a replay of the start. Once again, a very slow reaction time on my end. I still need to practice my clutch work because it looks like this car doesn't work like the other cars, and I've been driving until now. I need to get a better feel of how the when the clutch bites. So good luck with that, I guess. And here I am trying to overtake Mastin Gregory, and finally I am through. Later on the opening lap, we come into this tight right-hander, and there are a bunch of cars crashed around there. So we make our way up into 12th place, and here is a replay of Mastin Gregory coming through this right-hander and crashes into Graham Hill there. I'm not sure why the game decided to show me these crashes in reverse order, but whatever. And here we have a look at Ginther coming into this right-hander, and well, a left-hander, sorry, not a right-hander. And well, you can see what's happening. Here is Tony Brooks coming through a right-hander. He loses control of his car, hits the fence, and he is out of the race as well. This is Bruce McLaren hitting this wall coming through this left-hander. Then we see Graham Hill crashing into one of the cars, then into Richie Ginther's car. And towards the end of the lap, we see Baghetti coming into the pits to retire for some reason. So those were the first official retirements, and here we are coming around to overtake Baghetti. This is obviously still during the lap. Baghetti retired after this. Further along, I come through this right-hander and lose control of the car. I'm not quite sure how, but it just spun on me. And there we see Joe Bonnier overtaking me. Hopefully I can catch him soon enough. And I do, in fact, and we move back into 13th. Ginther is now out, and we move up into 9th all of a sudden, which is quite interesting. Later on, again coming through another right-hander, the car decides to swap ends on me again, and Joe Bonnier once again overtakes me. Roy Salvador is right behind me. Hopefully we can keep him behind. Not quite. Later on he manages to overtake me, but hopefully we will be able to catch him. And as we move on to this very long straight, I finally managed to overtake Joe Bonnier. He was overtaken by Roy Salvadori, so I'm hoping that I can overtake him as well. And indeed, a few seconds later I catch him just as we reach this bridge, and coming around to end lap 1, and we just overtook Jim Clark there in his Lotus as we start lap 2. We move up into 7th, so just 1 spot below the points. And then Dan Gurney retired from the race, so we move up into 6th place. That's a points finish if we manage to finish the race, obviously. And here is Dan Gurney coming through turn 3 here, loses control of his car, and he is pretty much out. Later on I catch up to Sterling Moss, and I'm trying to overtake him. He brakes all of a sudden for no reason through there, and I'm now in 5th, so that's pretty good. And here is Jack Brabham with a very messed up nose coming into the pits to retire as well. Not entirely sure why he decided to retire, but he did. And then later on, here I am coming through this very dangerous right-hander, overtaking Jim Clark. Not a very good place to try and overtake, that's quite dangerous, but I somehow managed to keep myself out of trouble. Later on I overtake Jack Brabham, go off the track, but I managed to keep Brabham behind me, which is quite nice. We are now in 4th. Then on lap 3 I catch up to Maurice Trintignant for 3rd here. He is slow through this left-hander, and we managed to go through, so we are now in 3rd, chasing after Innes Ireland, who is about 4 seconds up the road. Later on lap 3 I catch up to Ireland, coming through this dangerous right-hander once again, and we are now in 2nd as we have a look at Sterling Moss coming into the pits to retire as well. No reason as to why, but he did so. And we also see John Surtees coming around Sterling Moss coming into the pits to retire as well. So those are a couple more retirements. And here is Godin de Beaufort in his Marsbergen Porsche, we see a lot of black smoke coming out of the back of that car. He stops it in the middle of the road, and that is the end of his race, unfortunately. So that is that, I guess. And here we are, coming around to finish lap 3. I've caught up to Phil Hill, and believe it or not, I also posted the fastest lap just as we started lap 4 there, and hopefully I can overtake Phil Hill soon enough. And here is a replay of that, coming around to set the fastest lap of the race. Haven't done something like this in a very long time. I can't even remember the last time I managed to do it. And eventually I do manage to get around Phil Hill. He's very slow through that right-hander, so we are now in the lead of the German Grand Prix, which is absolutely fantastic. Hopefully we can keep it as that. Unfortunately, coming around to finish lap 4, I lost control coming through that final chicane. The car went into the air, landed, and I couldn't stick the landing, slid into the fence, crashed, lost my front right, and that is the end of the German Grand Prix for us. That's very heartbreaking, but what can you do? Anyway, here's a replay of Lorenzo Bandini coming through this right-hander. He has some problems with his suspension. He pulls to the side of the road, and he is out of the Grand Prix as well. And here's a replay of me. You see the car jump into the air. I then try to control it. However, I ended up crashing into the fence, lost my front right, and that's game over for Higgs, unfortunately. Quite heartbreaking after managing to take the lead after such a long time. I obviously discount the Dutch Grand Prix because that was pretty much given to us, but it was so much fun actually getting into the lead and then losing it just one lap before the end. But that is that, and we see Phil Hill coming around to take the win of the German Grand Prix eventually. And here are the race results. Hill wins, Ireland second, third Trintignant, fourth Bonnier, fifth Salvadori, and I missed the other two. And here are all the retirements. Unfortunately, we number ourselves among them, which is obviously not good, but we finally had a race where we had good pace, and unfortunately that went out of the window quite quickly at the end there. Disheartening, but not much I can do about it at this point, so yeah. But anyway, here are the career statistics, and this was Andy's 101st Grand Prix. His best start is from first, has 6 pole positions, has set 16 fastest laps. His best finishes in first, has completed 71 races, 56 of them in the points, has won 34 Grand Prix, 4 at the Indianapolis 500, 6 in Monaco, has 7 championships under his belt, has scored a total of 379 points, has retired 30 times, has experienced 2,283 out of 2,751 laps, has 6 bronze trophies, 9 silver trophies, 34 gold trophies, and as an extension 34 podiums. And here is a quick look at the championship standings. Phil Hill once again takes the lead of the championship with 21 points, Ireland in second, Ginsel third, Gurney fourth, Moss and Baghetti fighting for fifth, Higgs down in seventh fighting Hill for position. The last person to score points is Salvadori down in 18th, and Maston Gregory is bringing up the rear of the standings. So those are the driver standings, and as you can see, we've started to drop bad results. Anyway, let's move on to the constructors. And here Ferrari are continuing to lead the championship with 36 points. Lotus are second, Porsche third, Owen Racing Organization are in fourth, and Rob Walker Racing Team and Scuderia Sant'Andrea's fighting for fifth. The last team to score points are Cooper Car Company down in 11th. So those are the constructors. And that was the German Grand Prix. Once again, quite a disappointing end there. Obviously, it's been a very long time since Andy's managed to take the lead in the race. Again, the Dutch Grand Prix doesn't really count since everyone retired, so that was pretty much given to us. We finally managed to take the lead in a race. We led for almost an entire lap, and then right at the end crashed and, well, had to retire, which is, again, quite disappointing. But anyway, our next race is the Italian Grand Prix. Looking forward to it. I'm not quite sure how we'll fare there, although I don't think we'll do anywhere near as good as we did today at the German Grand Prix. And this will be the last time we'll see the long version of Monza with the oval included. So quite exciting, I guess. Perhaps, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, that is the end of the video. Once again, quite a disappointing end there. Obviously I would have liked to win, but apparently it wasn't in the cards for us today. So we'll keep on trying and hopefully we'll manage to win a race at some point. Maybe even win another championship, who knows. But anyway, don't forget to vote for next season's team, link is in the description. I also have a second channel where I will be playing all sorts of different games. At the moment I'm doing a playthrough of Diablo 2 and IL-2 Sturmovik 1946, so if you're interested in any of those games, there will be a link in the description to my second channel as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay sharp.